So, I'm about to ask you all a question that is rhetorical. Who here has an Apple device? Nobody will answer because everybody in this room I know has an Apple device. Now, here, let me ask you another question, and this one you can't answer. Who still has a phone with number buttons on it? Anybody? Well, that is what Apple creator Steve Jobs first made. A phone that literally had number buttons on it. Nothing else. Today I'll be presenting to you a brief history of Apple's handheld devices. In the 29th of June 2007, Steve Jobs released the first Apple iPhone, and it attracted a lot of attention. Months before the release of the first iPhone, though, it had to be implemented. The third-party web had to be implemented into the iPhone. It was not already there. So imagine if this was not already in, if the third party was not already in the phone. What would we do? Absolutely nothing. Because we wouldn't be able to access Google, wouldn't access Yahoo, and anywhere else. You couldn't even access Epic Games to download Fortnite. Later, in July of 2008, the iPhone 3G came out. I'm guessing they skipped iPhone 2, and Steve Jobs went on to make a third one. No idea why, but it just happened like that. There was nothing too significant about the iPhone 3G besides the increase of size and the optimal performance. Although in January of 2011, when the iPhone 4 came out, that's when things started to get very interesting. So, if you all know what Cricket Wireless is, it started to catch on to Apple's phone and provided service for the phone. This caused a chain reaction of other providers like AT&T, Sprint Mobile, and everything else to start to catch on and provide for the Apple service. Within 1 week, yes, 1 week, it spread like wildfire. So, yeah, 2 years later, T-Mobile also jumped in. And then, iPhone started to go worldwide. Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Finland, Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia within 1 year. 7 countries, and imagine all the shipping and handling that it had to go through, and we can't even get started on the prices for it to be shipped out. Within 1 year, Apple had reached its product across 7 countries. That's right. And then after that, iPhone just started to come out every 1 or 2 years. I'm sure you all have seen the new advertisement for the new iPhone XS and XR. Good devices, and that's why I wanted to talk. That's what gave me the idea for this topic. So, moving on to iPads. The Apple iPad was announced and unveiled on the 27th of January in 2010 at a media conference. On the 3rd of April, though, it finally got Wi-Fi and cellular. So before, if it didn't have Wi-Fi and cellular, we would only be able to read books on there. Nothing else. We couldn't browse the web, surf the web, or download anything. Nothing at all. So, it also spread quickly. Oh, hold on. Could you stop the timer for a second?
Sure.
My thing froze. Yeah, my iPad froze. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so it also spread quickly. Australia, Canada, Italy, France, Japan, Germany, Spain, Switzerland, and the UK. Also within 5 months. 5 months, that's right, people. So, this was what was called Apple's first tablet computer. It did not have the name of iPad yet. No, it was called the tablet computer before, and it was popular, just like the iPhone. But one surprising fact is that it was in development before the iPhone. That's right, before. They made an earlier version in about 1993. The first tablet computer, and it looked like a draw pad, a sketch pad, an electronic sketch pad. That's all it was, a sketch pad in 1993. So you can see how it has come a long way. Finally, I will talk about the iOS software. The iOS software, and it recently had an update. If you keep up with the news, iOS 12 has just recently come out. If you have not gotten the update yet, so the iOS system is what brought downloading apps possible. Before, without the iOS system, we would be able to do nothing at all. And the iOS operating system was a big part of that function, right? So, after the App Store, which iOS provided, was released, apps flooded in. So it started with initial 500 apps, and then it grew to 3,000, and then 15,000, 50,000, 100,000, 250,000, and it just kept growing bigger. By June 2016, there were 2.2 million apps in the App Store. And imagine 2018 now, how many apps there are. So, a word of advice, think twice before you quote-unquote download every app from the App Store. Alright. So, back to iOS. iOS wasn't just good for downloading apps. iOS 4 introduced folders, a way to group your apps, and I'm sure everybody knows how to group apps into a folder, if I'm not mistaken. iOS 5 implemented the notification center. So imagine, I know some of you all use WeChat, right? If you use WeChat, imagine getting a notification and it going instantly away. It'd be gone forever. Now, iOS 5 fixed that because if you swipe down on the top of your screen, there it would be, all the notifications you would ever have stored right there. iOS 7, iOS 6 introduced the application switcher, which you can do by double-clicking the home button, and then you can change your apps just like that. iOS 7 increased the functionality of the application switcher. Also, in iOS 7, Siri was an app. What? Yes, it was an app. It came out, Apple adopted it in the April of 2010. But yeah, before, Siri was an app that you could download. It was not a thing that was built into your phone. Shocking, right? I know. So, yeah, the intellectual assistant all built into an app. Imagine how long that would have taken. The commands, the app, the everything just built into one app. We're lucky that Apple adapted that feature. Otherwise, we'd still be using Siri through an app. Alright, so iOS 9 and 10 increased Siri's functionality and made it better. There was nothing too significant about it. And then iOS 11, that's when the revolution began. Apple had gone above its limits and beyond. Like, imagine if there was a scale of 1 to 10. Apple went to 20 with iOS 11. Multitasking was better, Control Center was better. It remodeled the whole thing. It added a dock, which a dock you could only see on a computer. So they literally implemented something that was on a computer into the iPad. Imagine how long that would have taken. And then iOS 12, which recently came out a few days ago. That also changed everything. We had reformatted time and battery. We had reformatted apps. We had new apps. We had better functionality. Apple had made the ability to put our faces into an emoji. And that is a brief history of Apple's handheld devices. Thank you.